Okay, my people, welcome to FBA All Day, the show all about justice and understanding for our people. I am the Lord Eric Steele, aka Big Rossi Love, perpetual student of the survival scrolls. If you know, you know. Okay, my people, I've been sent emails about this Tyre Nichols case, man. I've done my research, and I'm going to bring some of the transcript reading to you. On part one, I kind of covered a little bit about it, the size. I showed you the video, the arresting video. I showed you the way they left our brother Nichols, the way they left Tyre. I showed you a few interesting tidbits I brought to light on things I thought that were extra shady as far as their testimonies go. And on this part two, I'm going to actually read the transcript so you can have some meat and potatoes. Now, this is the transcript from Officer Emmett Martin. He's the guy that decided to turn on his friends. I believe he is not foundational Black American. He is obviously a rat, but he took the deal to lessen some of the pain for himself. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to start at the part where the prosecutor, who's Gilbert, so when I say Gilbert, that's the prosecutor, is talking to Martin and trying to get to the bottom of it, of the incident, and we'll see what happened, okay? Prosecutor Gilbert asked Martin, she said, "What threat did Mr. Nichols pose?" Referring to the moment he caught up with his officers at the arrest scene. Okay, she was asking, what threat did he pose? Why were you guys feeling threatened? Officer Martin said, "None." You got that? What threat did he pose? Officer response, none. He did not pose a threat. How would you describe his level of resistance? Officer Martin said, passive. Passive. I'll give you the spelling for those of you who don't know what that word means. Passive. Passive. Look it up. What did you think when you saw them kicking Nichols? He said, I thought they were trying to get him into custody, but it wasn't the case. But that wasn't the case. They were assaulting him, punching him, without their handcuffs out. So when they say they were trying to put cuffs on him, when they were punching and kicking him, they didn't even have their handcuffs out. If their testimony is he was resisting arrest, but you were beating him up and you didn't even have, so why were you beating him up? How were you going to put him in handcuffs when you didn't even have your handcuffs out? This was a murder. They set this boy up and they murdered him. I said it because if you and I had done this, we would be charged with murder. This is a setup and it is a murder. If I follow you somewhere and I call my brother or one of my cousins and I say, yo, this cat, he's pulling up on the corner of 155th and 2nd. And we block him in at that cross section. We yank him out the car, start beating him up, punching him and kicking him and tasing him, and then he dies. What do you think they're going to charge us with? What would we be charged with? What would a regular citizen be charged with this type of behavior? Exactly. They murdered him. They murdered him. Now, the prosecutor asked Martin, why didn't you intervene? When they were punching and kicking him, why didn't you intervene? Guess what Officer Martin said? He said, I figured that's what he should get. That's what he get. Then he admitted to joining in on delivering kicks to the boy's chest. He saw the other cops already beating him up, so he was like, okay, let me get some licks in. And then he joined in. He delivered some kicks to the torso. And the prosecutor said, why did you kick Mr. Nichols? I was so angry. I was angry, so I kicked him. It was my first week back. I needed an arrest to show I'm still capable of doing what I'm doing. So he's showing out. Martin previously testified that he had been back on the streets for only 4 days after he was hit by a car in November. Okay. So I see what happened. When they pulled him out the car, after they beat him and they were punching him at the initial traffic stop, they tried to pepper spray him. But the pepper spray hit the officers. And when the pepper spray hit the officers, that's when Mr. Nichols got away, because they accidentally sprayed themselves. And then he got away. Okay, so he was running for his house, and they caught up to him, and that's when they really laid into him. So on top of the beating that we see on camera, once he got away, that was the tip of the iceberg. And on top of that, I got pepper sprayed, Martin said. Martin testified that neither he nor any of the officers on the side, to his knowledge, on the scene, to his knowledge, attempted to stop the assault. So all those officers standing there kicking and cursing and screaming, nobody said that's enough. Nobody tried to stop the other. Okay? Then the prosecutor asked him, why did you throw your body camera on the ground? Mr. Martin said, I didn't want to show what we were doing. We were assaulting Mr. Nichols. He knew he was doing wrong. He was aware that they were breaking the law. He took his camera off and threw it, tried to break it. Did you know there was a Sky Cop camera at the scene of the arrest? No, Martin said. He only found out that the incident was captured from above when the information was publicly released. So after he threw his body camera away, he figured they were in the clear to beat the stew out of this boy. They were beating the lean on me out of this poor boy. And they thought they were in the clear because they had got rid of their cameras. They didn't know that those same cameras they used to spy on us with was also picking up their activity. He was unaware that that camera was there, and the camera picked up what happened, or else we would be stuck with their police report, which is total BS, because we can see it's total BS. Again, when we find this type of activity, the police reform should be as such. When you find this kind of blatant law breaking from the police officers, not only should they be fired, they should be charged for a hate crime, or they should be charged for gang activity. It should be some special felony for this. This is next level criminality right here. This is actually gang activity. This is next level. This is by the guys who are supposed to be enforcing the law. They literally beat this poor boy to death. He died as a result of this beating. There's no excuse for that. This is not justice. Is there any surprise the dominant society let them off? You have to ask yourself, what type of person could watch a video of somebody get beaten to death and go, oh, they did nothing wrong. Oh, let them off. What kind of person could do that? The dominant society. The same people who gave blankets with smallpox to the Indians. The same people who thought it was perfectly fine to rape people. The same people who thought it was perfectly fine to take the child of that rape and sell it to somebody else. The same type of people. These are the same stock of people that could see something like that degenerate behavior, and say it's okay. A degenerate is the only type of person that could see that and say it's okay. That's not police procedure at all. That's a lie. And the chief, the police chief, or anybody in that succession of police that says that they didn't break protocol, those guys should be removed from office immediately. When we find this type of cover-up, it's supposed to go up the chain. When these guys have access to these videos before the public does, they knew what happened. Not only should the police officers be arrested, but the people that are in charge of them, they should be let go as well. Because this type of behavior is festered. It's intertwined into that department. This is not one bad apple. We have at least 5 at the scene. That whole tree needs to come down. That's not one bad apple. That's not one bad apple. Remind you, the boy didn't do anything wrong. It was a simple traffic stop. They yanked him out of the car illegally. He wasn't guilty of any crime. That's a legal search and seizure right there. They had no right to open his car door. They had no right to pull him from the car. They didn't even tell him why he was pulled over. They didn't explain who they were. I didn't hear any Miranda rights read to him. Not in that video, I didn't. Not before they yanked him out of the car. This must not be allowed. We cannot let this kind of stuff be. Now you wonder why not too long ago, right there in Ohio, you had that guy run over a cop. Something's going to have to give. Something's going to have to give. I'll continue. Did you know that Sky camera? Did you know there was a Sky cop camera at the scene of the arrest? No, Martin said. He only found out the incident was captured from above when the information was publicly released. When it was on the news, she asked him. He said, yes, ma'am. Martin testified that the Sky cop camera showed him kicking Nichols 2 more times. 2 more times the camera showed him kicking Nichols. What threat did Mr. Nichols pose? She asked. Officer Martin said none. He didn't pose any threat. He's just kicking him. He's no threat. He's on the ground. And he's just kicking him. Martin also testified Justin Smith, the team leader, told his colleagues, Mills, to hit Nichols. Told the colleagues to hit him. Mills then withdrew his baton and struck Nichols several times on his arm as Smith and Bean held the arm down, according to the testimony and evidence presented in court. The boy is down. An officer has his arm out, and the team leader of the crew told another officer to hit the boy's arm. Yeah, go ahead, hit his arm with the baton. Try to break his arm. Martin admitted that he backed up to avoid being struck himself, but did not intervene, despite knowing Nichols had not threatened the officers. He knew that boy hadn't done anything. He knew those officers were about to hit him again, and he didn't try to stop him at all. He didn't intervene. He didn't say nothing. Gilbert asked Martin repeatedly through the footage of the assault how much of a threat Nichols posed to the officers as they continued their use of force. Each answer to each question was none. He posed no threat. He was no threat. They were just beating him. There was no threat. Of course, he's 145 pounds on the ground. These guys are 240. That's almost 1,000 pounds around him. Just two of the officers together is over 500 pounds. My people, foundational Black Americans, we are going to have to be aware of this type of activity. We are going to have to pursue justice for our people. In the instance of issues of self-preservation, we must become aware of these things. If for none other than just self-preservation, this boy tried to escape this assault. He ran. He tried to escape this beating. He tried to run home to his mother. They caught him and they beat him to death. You understand that? They set him up. When he passed the cop knew he didn't run the red light. So that's already documented. He did not run a red light. The cop got behind him anyway. The cop ran his plate illegally because he did not run the red light. There was no need to run his plate, but he ran his plate. He saw who he was. He called his homeboy, who he knew this guy had entanglements with his girlfriend. They set him up. They stopped him. They yanked him from the car. They beat him. They beat him. They tased him. And when they tried to pepper spray him, they pepper sprayed themselves. That gave him an opening just enough for him to escape and run. Try to run home. Because he knew what was happening to him was illegal. He hadn't done anything. Certainly nothing that could justify what they were doing to him. He tried to make it home. He wasn't far from home. He wasn't far from home when they caught him. They caught him and they beat him to death. He died. 3 days later, this boy was dead. For no reason. Nothing that he'd done. There's nothing in the handbook that says if you're speeding, cops pull him over, pull him out the car, beat him and kick him and tase him. That's not in the police handbook. Procedure is not pull the car over, yank him out the car, throw him on the ground, kick him, beat him, tase. That's not in the police handbook. You didn't identify him. You didn't identify yourselves. You didn't tell him what he was pulled over for. None of that. How is this? Okay, let's go back. Martin testified that he punched Nichols 5 times in the face with a closed fist after Mills beat him with a baton. All while Nichols' arms were still restrained by Bean and Smith. They were holding his arms, and this dude was just, a 275 dude was just teeing off on him. I'm 220. If somebody is 145 and I give him one of these homemade sandwiches, he's losing consciousness with one. I'm pretty sure I can put somebody 145 to sleep with one. There's a reason why there's weight classes in boxing. You understand that? There's a reason why there's weight classes in boxing. Mike Tyson in his prime, I believe he was about 220, 219, 220 in his fighting weight. These guys were heavier and bigger than Mike Tyson. Punching somebody small as or smaller than Sugar Ray Robinson. I mean, Sugar Ray Leonard. Sugar Ray Leonard. How much does Sugar Ray Leonard weigh? Let me just do a quick research real fast. Hold on. Sugar Ray. Let's just see real quick. Let's just do a quick little research here real fast. I apologize. Hold on. I just want to give you some points of reference. Sugar Ray Leonard was a middleweight and a lightweight. He fought in the middleweight, welterweight, and lightweight divisions. He's 159 pounds. So this guy weighed less than Sugar Ray Leonard. Sugar Ray couldn't fight Mike Tyson because there are different weight classes, is my point. Do you understand that? The weight size and difference? Just one punch from somebody 275 to somebody that's 145? These guys have no sense of morals, no sense of anything, bro. That's just wrong on so many different levels. If it was just one, it was 5 of them. Okay. Martin testified that he punched Nichols 5 times in the face after he was already beat with the baton and while his arms are being held and restrained, so he couldn't defend himself at all. He's just teeing off on this kid. Why? The prosecutor had one question after he said he teed off on this boy. Why? Why did you do that? We were trying to get him in custody. Excuse me. That's what Mr. Emmett Martin said. Officer Martin said we were trying to get him in custody. So you have somebody holding his arms, beating his arms with a baton. Okay. What did you do after you punched Mr. Nichols? I kicked him, Martin said. He kicked him. He said Haley also delivered a vicious kick to Nichols in the head and upper torso. He said the boy just jerked. Look at this picture of this boy in the hospital and look at the dent in his head. Do you see that impression on his head? That wasn't there before. Before this incident, his head didn't have that dent. This dude kicked him in the head, yo. The autopsy said this dude died from blunt head trauma and tearing of the brain. Think about that. He said Nichols seemed very disoriented and out of it, with a bloody nose, when they handcuffed him and propped him against the car. Of course he was out of it. The prosecutor said, what happened after the assault? Martin said he never disclosed the assault to his supervisor. Once he arrived at the scene, Martin told Smith he thought Nichols was high. He didn't tell him nothing about beating the dude. He just said they thought he was high. Footage was shown in court about them high-fiving each other and laughing after they beat that dude to death. After they beat him and leaned him up against the car, they were high-fiving each other. They showed that video in court. I'm not going to tell on them, and they're not going to tell on me. It was understood. We need to do what we need to do, Martin said. They were covering for each other. They were going to stick to that story. They didn't know that sky camera caught them. When the officers filled Lieutenant Smith in, Martin said Haley told the supervisor that Nichols took a swing at him. A blatant lie. Why? Why did Haley tell the supervisor that? Martin said we had to exaggerate what he did. Martin also claims Haley told Lieutenant Smith that Nichols drove into oncoming traffic and went for Martin's gun at the traffic stop. Both of these statements were not true. Martin said he did not correct Haley in an attempt to cover up the assault. He didn't tell the lieutenant what Haley was saying was not true. He didn't tell him that. He just let him keep lying. But he knew it wasn't true. Martin testified that the body-worn camera footage showed him gesturing to Mills to take off his camera so it wouldn't catch their conversation. Mills said he thought that we were about to kill this guy, Martin said. All of us were laughing. Gilbert asked if anyone acted surprised, denied the use of force, or suggested reporting the use of force. No, ma'am, Martin told the prosecutor. None of them were surprised. None of them denied the use of force or suggested reporting the use of force. They didn't want to tell nobody they did it. Martin testified to his knowledge no officers told the dispatcher that Nichols had been punched, kicked, or struck in the head. They didn't say he was beat up. They told him they thought he was on drugs. That's what they told dispatch. Martin said Mills and Bean went with Nichols to the hospital while Martin went to the fire station for treatment over high blood pressure, something he said he never had an issue with until he was struck by a car. They beat the boy near to death, and by not reporting what they did to him, he did not receive the medical treatment that sort of a beating would have required to save his life. You understand that? Somebody takes a blow to the head and they're just moving him around. They didn't know what damage they did to that boy. All they knew, he was unconscious. They didn't know. Once back at the police station, Martin testified that he and Officer Haley's claims written in the incident report painted Martin as the victim, and charges were written against Nichols for aggravated assault on an officer. Gilbert then presented the narrative portion of the report to jurors, written by Detective McKinney from the officer's claims. The first sentence says she was one of the first on the scene when she was never even present. Detective Valandria McKinney. She wrote that she was one of the first at the scene when she was never even there. Do you know they never questioned her? They never asked her why she wrote a report saying she was one of the first on the scene when she was never there. They never pursued that. They didn't put her in the mix. This is Detective Valandria McKinney. Wonder why they never asked her why she lied on her police report. There was no reason for the discrepancy, and it was not answered in court. Martin read the narrative line by line, outlining the inaccuracies he previously admitted. McKinney wrote that Nichols was sweating profusely and irate when he exited his vehicle, that Nichols grabbed Martin's gun, and that Nichols continued to battle the officers while resisting arrest. Is that what that video showed? Not even remotely close to the truth. Not even remotely close. I showed the video in part 1. I'll show it again. Here's the video so all can see what she said. This is what she said. Nichols was sweating profusely and irate when he exited the vehicle. Nichols grabbed Martin's gun, and that Nichols continued to battle the officers while resisting arrest, is what she said. Here's the video again.
You gonna get your ass blown the fuck off. Get the fuck out the car. Get the fuck out the fucking car. Damn, I didn't do anything. Hey, I didn't turn your ass around. All right. On the ground.
That's not what happened. She lied. She lied. Why is there no explanations for her? Okay, family. This is part 2. We are going to finish up here in the next series. On the next part, we're going to break this up into another part. But this series is very interesting. I hope you're following along. And let's get to the meat and potatoes of this thing, all right? Again, this is your boy, Lord Eric Steele, FBA all day. I'm going to keep bringing you these pieces. I'm going to keep bringing you this heat. We're going to get to the bottom of this because we deserve justice for our brother, Tyre Nichols. We deserve justice.